Sounds good.
Okay. So back to the mover and seconder.
That's correct. So I have Mary as mover. Oh, and we just lost our chair.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's wait till he comes back. And we just lost Mary. What's going? Oh no, Mary's there. We lost Jim.
Oh,
Everybody's shuffling around on the screen on me.
Jessica,
All right.
can you hear me all right?
I can. There's
I
Carrie
think-
back.
I think we're looking for Doug. He's still looking for the link.
Okay.
I just told him
Yes, and
him
it's
to
under
look for your email.
Whitney, if anybody wants to let him know.
Oh, and there's Jim again.
Okay, I disappeared there for a minute.
Yeah, you did, but you got back really quick.
I was just gone.
Yeah, we lost you and Jim.
Yeah, I got kicked out for some reason.
Yeah. So weird. Okay. And then Carrie, Paul was just saying that Doug is still trying to log in. So I don't know if you just want to pause for.
Sure, let's give him a
Minute
couple
there.
minutes. Everybody seems to be having technical difficulties here.
Mhm.
I think the problem for Doug is that the Zoom comes under the name Whitney. And he probably doesn't know that the whole meeting is under Whitney because she responded that she would be attending. And
Okay.
that's
He sh-
it. So I will text him and tell him to try that.
Let me, I'll forward him, let him know that I'll forward him the email that had everything with it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'll
I
just
think
forward.
stupid that way. That last improvement they supposedly made. I find the same thing. You only get the last email if somebody replies. So you've got to hit that. You got to hit that check mark on the left-hand side to get the history of all the emails.
Okay. Well, I will forward it to him again. So I've just forwarded that again to him, Mary, if you want to let him know that.
I did let him know.
Okay.
Jim's correct, and maybe from now on, we could just get a reminder the day of, because sometimes it gets lost when a whole bunch of people respond that they're going to attend, and we don't necessarily know what committee it is.
Okay, I'll start sending it out as like a calendar invite as well. Just hopefully that'll help.
Yeah.
I think that would work really well, Jessica.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
There he is.
Oh,
Nobody knows.
All right, Mr. Chair, if you want to start again with your approval of the agenda.
Okay, one more time. I assume everyone has read the agenda, so have a motion to approve the agenda with a seconder, please.
I'll move it.
Moved by Mary. Whitney, you want to throw a second on that?
yeah, I'll second that.
There we go. And item number 3, declarations of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Anybody got any fingers in the pie? Nope, me either. Approval of the minutes from our last meeting of 10 November. Assume everyone has read those and are happy with them. Any comments? Okay, can we have a motion and a seconder to approve those and adopt them?
I'll move it.
Second it.
There we go. Do we have any delegations today? I think not. Our chair's report. Okay, so I assume you all got that little diagram that I sent out. Two of them actually. And hopefully they came through better than the ones I'm looking at right here. I don't know if they did or not.
Not good.
So if
Yeah,
you
I
look
thought it
at
was my bad eyes.
okay, if you look at the one that's titled North of Maine, do you have the whole picture as far up as Little Lake Road, or do we just have a little thing that says link to LTC trail in the middle?
Nothing there.
Is the issue, Carrie, that like me attaching it to the agenda kind of cut it off?
It may have, yeah.
Okay, so
Or
if
maybe
every,
the one that I sent was not the full, what I thought I was sending anyway. So there's
okay,
that possibility too.
I will forward everyone the email that Carrie sent me with these attachments in hopes that that kind of gives you a better picture just a minute.
Able to share those?
We can wing it. Yeah, I think the one that I sent as North of Maine did not, wasn't the full screen capture that I had intended. So that may not be any good at all. Sorry about that.
Okay,
That
well,
was still-
I've sent along the email to everybody anyways, and
You're trying to do captures off Google Earth that sometimes is tricky. So let's just pretend that North of Maine one is no good, and I'll wing it from there. We have several trails, and we've discussed these before. Several potential trails, and that being the extension of Simpson Street up to Little Lake Road, which I examined it lately, and it's if we had some gravel and a few culverts in there, that would be an excellent trail all the way around, perhaps more for biking than walking, but still be an integral part of our trails. As we talked about before, having a fairly large, or a loop is preferable to having going one way and then turning around and coming back. So that would play into having a loop, especially for the bicycle path. The same with the extension of the old Percy Road up to Little Lake Road. That is a fairly good road bed part of the way up to where there's, I think, the guy by the name of Ian Hennessy owns the property, and he maintains the road right up to his little cabin in there. So we would have to extend that through, probably quite a bit more gravel and a few culverts in there, but that would be another loop, and then the extension of Tees Lane down to the highway. Again, a fairly good road bed with a few loads of gravel and maybe a culvert or two, and we would have something that we could actually loop for a bicycle path and as a walking path as well. Probably a bit long for most people to walk, but still it would be there. It's something that we could say, hey, we've done this. And the next little thing that we got there from Jim Waterhouse, that sort of plays into the this North of Maine part as, excuse me, as well. Between the second and third houses house, or for the first and second houses down from the Mount Hope Cemetery entrance, Jim retained a small piece of property in there. It's about 30 feet wide, as shows on the little picture that we got, that directly connects to block 21, I believe it is, on the Forest Hill subdivision, which is parkland / stormwater management area. So that would be a nice little connection up there. And as somebody mentioned, it would be a nice little link across from Lower Trent property across out to Yonge Street and across the highway and up through there. If we get through block 21, I believe, that takes us to an unopened road allowance between lots 34 and 35, which goes right up to White's Road. That, I think, is fairly rough going up through there, but I know for a fact that one of the neighbors engaged our survey company to mark out one of the limits of that road 5-6 years ago. And I'm sure those stakes are still in there. So we could utilize that to actually know where the road is, and to be able to construct a trail that was supposed to probably be just strictly a walking trail through there at this time, but we have the potential to be able to put that through. And so those projects are sort of shovel ready. We can, I think, move fairly quickly on that if we have the will and a little bit of cash. I think Jim said we had some money in the budget for trails. So does that go away at the end of the year, Jim, or does that roll over? It's there. Good.
We have money in the upcoming budget for trails.
Okay.
But there's
Sorry.
there's still 250,000 before we started the budget in the trail committee that's been received by developers fees for trails that hasn't been used. And there's 250,000 in that, but there's only a portion of it that's been allotted for this budget.
Okay. Now I will just flip back for a second. I tried to get in touch with Dan Simpson regarding his potential link south of Butler Street. I left him a message, and he did not offer to buy him a coffee on the weekend. He did not bother to get back to me, although he told a mutual acquaintance, he says, I guess I got to call Kerry Bain one of these days. He did not call me. So that's Danny, of course. So Doug, that's your cue. You know him as well. So do you want to
all right.
Take a run at
You
him?
want that I met with Danny this morning by accident. And so apparently he didn't like your message that you left and the tone you left it in. But anyway, you know, Dan, that's Danny. But Mr. Walsh and I and Mary have a meeting with Mr. Danny Thompson at 1 o'clock on the 15th
Danny
of
Simpson.
December.
Danny Simpson, Doug.
Danny Simpson, yes. We have a meeting with him on the 15th at 1 o'clock at the planning
Excellent.
office.
Excellent.
So I had a good hour talk with him, and what has to be done, and he still has a bitter taste in his mouth from what the previous councils did to him when Jim Phillips and a few of them were there. They got him to spend $70,000 for lots, and then they took him away from him. They wouldn't give it to him. They made up the water and the sewage while they were doing it, and he paid 70 grand, and then they wouldn't sever. So he's had a taste in his mouth for quite a long time. And so he has a bad taste in his mouth for our planner too. So I told him I would make sure and called Mr. Walsh, and we got the meeting set up for the 15th at 1 o'clock. He has the utmost respect for Mary. He has the utmost respect for you too. But he knows that everybody wants from him his agenda, and he realizes that his little piece is the key to connecting a lot of trails. Now, the other one that I was walking on the weekend last week was Georgina Street, from White's Road to Georgina Street, all the way to Telephone Road. I found out through a mutual friend that road allowance used to be open, and they used to use that as a shortcut to go to Telephone Road, and they used to use Georgina Street, but over the years it's grown up. So it still has a good gravel base. The trees just need to be cleared, so it gives you a good walking trail, the width of a road that you can go all the way to Telephone Road from White's Road. So I walked it last week. I didn't know they used to use that for traffic a while back in the 50s and 60s. And then it was, for some reason, when they put the gravel pit, they stopped using it. So it's just grown up, just got to be cleared.
I think you'll find that quite a few of these, what we call unopened roads, were actually traveled at one time. And there is some of them, there's a rather good road base in there because of the wagon traffic that was there 100 and some years ago. So that's probably one of those cases, Doug, that just fell into disuse, but it's still there. So
what I'm using, council voted and gave me as a council authority to work on old files that were delinquent. So I'm using this one with the 4 lots as a delinquent file to work with Mr. Walsh, but also get all the trails. And he's willing, apparently at the end of Grimes Road, there's a cedar. I remember when they planted those cedars back in the early 90s, and cedar plantation there now. And he would donate that as parkland that would come down, that would help us to bring the trail across to hook up to the LeBlanc Trail, where I called it, where they're going to build the condominiums. So we could hook up on that side. And then if we could get a bridge across, then we would hook up on the other trails that they're putting in with Toby's and with the LeBlanc subdivision, because that would give us the north side and the south side. But on the north side, we would have to come down by the car wash, come across, and then walk down a little bit Butler, then cut in across and go that way. And that's the way to do it.
yeah,
The outside.
I think at
So
this
that's
point,
what
we would be happy to
discussing.
take what we can get from Mr. Simpson.
No.
As you say, he is the key. He's the only guy that we don't have over a barrel.
Yeah, he doesn't want anybody to call him. I know that he told me Jim Miller called him. Everybody calls him, and everybody says they all want something. He says, "I'll deal with you." But I had a rapport with his father before his father passed, and I still have a rapport with his mother, and he has great rapport with Mary Tadman, and their whole family does. So we went there, and he had a great rapport with my brother before my brother passed. They used to sit down at the Baker's Dozen for hours and hours and hours on end, him and my brother. So I met him by accident today, so we got into it. It gets quite vocal, so I don't know if Mary really wants to come into the meeting, because the language is not probably won't be appropriate for a lady to be there. So that's how I deal with him. And Mr. Walsh has already heard me deal with him before. So, and he's already accepted the invitation to be there. So we had a long conversation.
Okay.
May I comment on one? Or are you done yet?
Yeah, go ahead, Mary.
I just want to comment on one thing that you thought maybe I wouldn't be able to cope with anything that Danny threw my way. I just want to remind you, I'm from Gosport for one thing. I grew up with 5 brothers, and Danny doesn't worry me. I've known Danny since he was a little boy, so he doesn't worry me.
Well, that's good. You'll be able to tag team him then.
I don't think there's any.
I'm not promising anything because Danny changes his mind from day to day. So
I know he does.
I told him there was no mind changing. Once we make a deal, we make a deal.
In writing.
Yep. I'll get it in writing. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I'll have him in a headlock when we're talking.
Okay, well, if we just go back here to my report for a second, and then we'll pretty much be done that. So yeah, that little piece that Jim Waterhouse owns between Highway 30 and the block on the subdivision, he is willing to to donate to the municipality as a trail. I believe that's his words, and the piece that it connects to, the block on the plan, is specifically dedicated to, I believe there's a certain terminology Jim was telling me about, and I can't quite remember what it was, but it was something about non-invasive walking trails was one of the purposes of the block. So I think that would all tie in together. And I just had a little bit for south of the tracks, which I believe the picture came through on that one fairly well. So I think we talked about this last meeting. Doug, you were considering speaking to the fellow that owns the property right at the very south end of Greenwood, where it would come out onto Lakeshore. I forget the guy's name now, but we would have to go across private property there.
Normie.
Yes, Norm Davidson, right. Okay, and I know just from looking at Google Earth, there's a fairly good roadway runs all the way back through there to, I believe, the north end of the wetland. And there's part of Greenwood that has been closed by bylaw and deeded to adjoining owners down in there. So we would have to stop there and then deviate from there. But if Norm could see his way to giving us a trail through there, we would have a good run all the way up to the railroad tracks at the new Apple subdivision, Mysick's property further north. So as we talked about before, the railroad crossing, and then the Raglan Street extension. I know it's pretty rough in there and wet going out to Huff Road, but again, it's something that would make a really nice loop if we could extend the existing Raglan Street a little further into the woods past Taft's and all the way through out to Huff Road. That's another good loop through there. So that, I believe, would be the extent of my report. Oh, I got one more thing, sorry. We talked about the Arnold Boes property, Mary. I think this is the Willenroth property. Was that how you referred to it?
Yes.
Now, I looked up the Nature Conservancy of Canada, and their goal and their mission statement is not to have all this land to which nobody can have access and keep it strictly for the birds and the bees. They actually say that they will partner, and it's for the common good of everyone that they take on all these lands. So that might be worth a shot to see if they would be interested in partnering with the municipality on limited use of that one piece that especially has the beach along there. It's a very attractive piece of property.
Mm-hmm.
So would it be worthwhile having someone from the municipality, namely Mr. Miller, get in touch and see if there's anything workable there?
What group is this?
The Willenroth property, the Arnold Boes property.
No, the group I need to talk to.
Oh, the Nature Conservancy of Canada. They are the legal owners. Arnold donated it to them a number of years ago.
Yeah, and Carrie, that next, the property, and it's a big area that comes off if you're coming straight down Prince Edward Street and you make the corner turn just past the sewage treatment plant and the clean out there. That was St. Mary's, and I believe that the Nature Conservancy, I'm pretty sure we put money towards that, but they own that now. And so
Yes.
then there's
Yeah.
a spot, then there's a chunk of land in between Willenroth and there that I don't know who owns. I don't know whether
Yeah.
Doug knows, because he owns property down that way.
Yeah, there's a guy that owns quite a bit south of County Road 64. John. I can't think of his name now. He's got a little farmy thing down in there, I believe. The extension
On
of
the south side of the road?
yeah, the extension of Boes Road is his driveway. So he's got a
Okay.
farm down in there. Yeah, I can't think of
Is
his
that
name.
Heisman?
Yeah,
that
John
Heisman?
Heisman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he owns a big piece in there. But I believe you're right in that Blue Circle at the time, which was one of the forerunners of St. Mary's, or one of the owners at the time, they donated a large piece in there of wetland all the way through. So, but that is wetland for sure.
Yeah.
I did the survey on it. The wildlife biologists had gone through there and flagged what they would like to have, and it was all just on the very border of the marshy area. So there's not much usable in there, but on the Willenroth property, there is quite a bit of good
Yeah.
hard, especially that beach. So it's worth a shot, seeing if they would partner with us on that in some kind of endeavor for recreation purposes. So I think we're a little further ahead than we were previously.
Yeah,
don't
Carrie,
know.
just on that, I believe that there was a culvert put in there and there was a bit of gravel put in so people could drive in and park. It's if you come straight down Boes Road and just a ways to so it'd be your left coming down. It's so grown up now you wouldn't notice it, but if you find that sign, the Willenroth sign, I haven't looked for it lately, but there is a base there, and I think there was a culvert there. So it would be easy to access it for people that wanted to drive in and then do a trail there.
Right. I'm not quite sure of the ownership, whether the Nature Conservancy owns right up with frontage on
Yeah, they do.
on Boes Road, or
I'm pretty sure they do.
I'm not sure.
That's County Road 64.
Yeah, sorry. That's quite easy to check. Paul can check that on GeoWarehouse. I can check it on GeoWarehouse. So I think we actually did that before our previous discussion, but sort of put that one to bed. Maybe we shouldn't have moved prematurely. Anyway, so I'm not, again, quite sure of the procedure of if Mr. Waterhouse wants to give us this piece of property, what would happen next on that? Paul, you could probably have an idea what would happen on that.
I think the next step on that would just be a confirmation of the committee's interest in acquiring it. And then a report would need to go to council for a bylaw for authorizing the conveyance of the lands to ourselves. We might need to have some other things like make sure there's no liens on it and that sort of thing. So we'd need to talk to the lawyer, make sure that the title's clean. And I don't think we'd have any worries of it being contaminated site or anything like that. So it'd be worthwhile maybe doing one little quick investigation on that type of matter. But clearing some of those hurdles, I think we just get a report to council authorizing the conveyance from his name to the municipality's name.
Sounds good. Yeah. Be nice to have that done.
Yeah, it's a lovely piece of land in there.
Now, I have one more thing. Does anybody know a contact at Lower Trent who would be the best person to speak with regard to expanding their trails? Not just this one that we would maybe like to bring across the creek at some point from the Lower Trent Trail out to George Street, whatever that extension of the street is there. But also if Mr. Phillips ever gets anything rolling further on up and decides to dedicate a trail to us, we would have to negotiate some kind of or get permission from Lower Trent. So does anybody know the best person to talk to there? I would gladly do some reaching out, but I don't want to waste a whole lot of time talking to 10 different people.
Yeah. Mary's on the board, so I think I see Mary raising her hand, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I would think the best way to go about that, I have a meeting tomorrow night at Lower Trent, but Carrie, better you as the chair to speak to the CAO, I would think. And then she would assign who she would want to either come here. Maybe you'd like to show her where you want it first before she came here to this committee to say what the problems were or what the advantages of doing it. I don't
Sure.
know which way you'd like to go, but Rhonda usually delegates to who happens to be the one that's in charge. So I wouldn't like to commit to anybody right now, but if you got a hold of Rhonda, I'm sure she would do that.
Okay. Can you shoot me an email with her contact information?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can.
Good. All right. I will follow up on that very quickly. And it's,
Well, Carrie, since I'm going there tomorrow night, do you want me to first ask her and then send the information to you? Which do
sure,
you
you
want?
can, yeah, sort of do a little pre-running there.
Yeah, for sure.
Grease the way. Sure.
Well, we're
that's-
doing her
that's good.
performance review tomorrow night, so she better be on the best behavior.
That's sort of over a barrel again too, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I would appreciate doing that, and I don't mind contacting someone to do that. Councillor
Carrie,
Law.
then,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mary.
oh, Carrie, do you want to give me your phone number so she can get in touch with you or email or something?
Sure.
I got to find a piece of paper, just a sec.
Sorry, guys, remember this is live streamed, eh? So Carrie, you're not gonna want to give your
Yeah,
phone number
that's
out. You should
correct.
probably
Yeah.
just email it.
Yep.
Harry, I think you have it in your email.
Yeah. In Rhonda's?
I think
Oh, Mary. Yeah.
you've
Mary.
already supplied your email on your phone number on your email.
I'm sorry, I
Live
didn't hear.
streaming,
what
Mary,
was-
so we're not. Okay,
We're not gonna
live
do that,
streaming
okay.
here, so we're not going to give out personal information over.
Okay,
Okay, so I'll email you afterwards and
fine.
behind the scenes. Yeah, we'll do it that way. So
Then I'll just send it to everybody. How's that, Carrie?
yeah, sure. Everybody here, I don't care, but and I
No,
really probably wouldn't care whether it gets out too much further than that anyway, except for the telemarkers and the duct cleaning people.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that would conclude my report. So Doug and Barry, you're going to speak with Dan. Do you mind making a few inroads with Mr. Ibbotson? Just a feeler out there to see if he would be interested?
Like you're muted.
Am I not muted now?
No, we can hear you now.
Hello? Can you hear? Okay, so when we talk to the Lower Trent, they do have a group on trails, but they go through the Wooler Swamp. And the town used to maintain those, and they used to use them as fire lanes that they could go through. They're all gravel, but they're all brushed in now. And since we have that rubber tired hi-ho, could go there and open up all those trails. And the Lower Trent was really looking for that to be done 2 years ago. I brought it up to council with Preston, but they just didn't have the time. And when there was a fire in the Wooler Swamp, Trenton had to use our trails, or we had to go towards Trenton side, and they're supposed to be maintained for fire lanes and stuff, and they haven't been for quite a few years. But it'd be great walking paths in nature, because you're through with all the muskrats and the beavers and the birds and the wildlife and the ospreys would be all down there walking through trails going through there. It's all gravel. It's all been maintained, but it's just been grown up. And they wanted to know if we would open them up, because the Lower Trent would use them too. It's one of the things, I forget what the individual's name, but Janet knows who we were talking to. We had several conversations about it. That was one there. And with Norm, I will talk to him. And the other trail we should be looking at, along the railroad track, on the south side of the railroad track, there's a road allowance or an easement that's allowed that goes all along the railroad track. So you could walk on the south side of the railroad track and from town and park in the industrial park and just walk south of the railroad track and just maintain the trails. It goes right straight on the backside of my properties, all the way to Boes Road and all the way to English Settlement Road. So it's another connection that's there that you can walk across. And it's all kept open. We just have to open it up. Because if you look at Boes Road, when you come to the bridge, on the south side of the bridge, you can see the laneway goes right straight up. Right?
Right.
So there's a lot of trail opportunity.
That easement would be in favor of Ontario Hydro and not necessarily for hiking, no, I believe. Easements are generally set out for a very specific purpose.
But I'm also looking at the north for trails along the Bullard. There's a whole bunch of trail systems that have been let growing up over the years.
Yeah. I would personally like to see us take a few baby steps and try and get something done, and not specifically in this, right in the town area, but that seems to be the most opportunity to actually pull the trigger on a few things. And if we can get a few things done to say that, hey, we're actually a committee and we've managed to advise council to do a few things, then I would personally, as chair, prefer to do that and expand, because we're only here for another, 7 months till the next election. And then our committee dies with council, I believe. So it'd be nice to get something done and be able to say that we actually accomplished something in our short period of time. That being said, that's the end of my report. I think we've probably had lots of discussion on that. Anybody else have any further business on that?
Mr. Chairman, I'm
Yes,
just
sir.
wondering if you had any luck with the quarter sessions bylaws.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I did. I was in touch with Sharanda Griffiths, and she put me in touch with a person from Whitby in the land registry system. As there are no staff at all anymore in Coburg, they've pretty well closed the land registry office down there. So this person who has quite a bit of experience in western part of Northumberland says there are no quarter sessions roads in the municipality of Brighton, and she could state that quite confidently that they just did not. That's not the way they opened roads in East Northumberland, or either that, or they were not properly recorded, in which case they're lost. Anyway, I know my experience in the county, in Prince Edward County, they had lots of quarter sessions roads, and Rick Rowe, who was a land registrar back in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, spent a lot of time compiling all these, pouring through the books and compiling an index of the roads. So they existed and they had a very good record of them. But in this neck of the woods, nope, no quarter sessions roads. So
In Hastings County, the southern half or southern third had quite a few quarter sessions roads as well.
yeah. I don't know of any other municipalities in East Northumberland that actually had quarter sessions roads. We were fortunate enough in Brighton that most of our roads were able to be opened on the original surveyed road allowances, and roads other than that just tended to wander off off the road without benefit of legal benefit of having been created. They were just forced roads. So
right.
They don't lose their standing at all. Otherwise, they're still a forced road with statute labor and money expenditure and all that stuff that satisfies the definition of a public road. So they're just not quarter sessions roads. So. Okay. Anybody have anything further to bring up? I guess we're all good.
I think we're good.
When should we meet again?
Sorry, Carrie, before you continue on, can I get you to have a mover and a seconder for your report for information?
Okay, I can do that. Can we have a mover and a seconder for the chairman's report?
So moved.
Information.
I'll second.
Mary
Thank
and
you.
Doug, thank you.
And really the research subcommittee report, was that just kind of yours?
I apologize that I should have been in touch with Doug, and
That's okay.
I believe Whitney is the other member. I've just been swapped.
Okay,
I'm supposed to be semi-retired and I've booked
You did very well.
that's fine.
156
So
hours for November, so.
that's okay. So for that item, I'll just put that there was no report or no update. Okay.
Okay,
And then you kind of talked about the Nature Conservancy of Ontario or of Canada for the Boes property with your report, right?
yeah, I got ahead of myself.
Okay. Okay, just wanted to, being my
That was just
first
to
time
say one
here.
mover and seconder.
Yeah, no problem. I will just make note of that.
Probably with the Christmas season coming up, nobody is going to be doing too much in the way of trail work. So I would say, should we leave our meeting till maybe sometime in late January, February?
Yeah, so in our department, we're really looking for committees to meet in February so that we can get reorganized for the new year in January.
Okay. Do we want to set a date or
Early February.
early?
So you're the second Wednesday of the month, so that would bring you to February 9th.
I won't be available February 9th.
And nor will I. So
Okay.
hopefully. So we might, we try to start getting into vacation time and everything now too. So
Mhm.
later in February.
Let me check. Are you talking middle or last week of February?
Probably last week. I personally am going to be away for first 2 weeks, I believe, of February.
Okay, let me just make sure we're not getting in conflict with anyone else. Okay. So the 23rd,
Sounds good to me.
does that work? Sorry, I didn't have my screen up. Did anybody shake their head no? Okay, 23rd is good.
Yeah, I'll make it work.
23rd.
3 p.m.
Okay.
3 p.m.
3 p.m.
still. Okay,
Okay. So can we have a mover and a seconder to close the meeting? I guess I don't need that.
I'll move it.
Right? I think from last time I learned that I can close the meeting without a mover. And
you
a second.
could, yep.
Okay. As I therefore do. How's that?
Okay.
So
that
thanks again,
works.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
And always a